Hey, what's up, everyone? It's the Tip Touch podcast back at you again with another brand new episode. And today, we're going to give you that three-way special, baby, on this fucking Saturday evening. Today, of course, as always, I got my boy Brett, my co-host. What's up, brother? And, of course, we have our very good friend all the way from CA, San Francisco, right? Is that where you're at?
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay, good. We can say that. Our good friend Scott, man. What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up?
Going good. Hey, you know, the thing with Scott today, I told him, I said, listen, I know everything's on fire down there, but if you could make an hour out of your time, just to
We start seeing flames in the background, fucking smoke coming out.
Dude,
It's
crazy.
time to cut it off. Yeah, so no, that's a perfect segue to get into, Brett, since you mentioned that. Scott, how's it? I mean, let's just say right now, it is insane. And I want to start this by saying, so a week before all this just catastrophic freaking flame inferno event's been happening, right? I was talking to my wife. I was like, you know what? The one thing that we can say that it's on the bright side of things, we haven't had a forest fire. Week later, dude, I was like,
Spoken into existence.
We just can't fucking catch a break this year. It's just been this is just like adding a fucking another cherry on top, man. It's crazy. But I mean, how's it going over there where you're at, Scott?
Dude, it's crazy. Like, I feel like we just got done with a bunch of fires that were happening. Cause I think they said there was like over 200 fires going at once, like a few weeks ago. 200. And something like that. It was an astronomical amount. And then this last weekend, I think, they were having a gender reveal party in Fresno, which is about 2 hours. 2 hours south of me. Yeah. And someone lit a firework or something and caused this new wave of fires in Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard.
So, okay.
We can smell your smoke.
I wanna be one to say who the fuck's idea was to do that, and then how the fuck would they even, like, I guess, you know, think to themselves, oh, this isn't gonna cause that much damage to cause a fucking massive fire.
Why started the fire?
It was a gender reveal party, right, Scott? Like you mentioned.
Yeah, but it was like some sort of like firework or pyrotronic or something like that that like got knocked over or malfunctioned or something, and then started all these new fires. And every day there's just ash everywhere. And the unfortunate part is, I think in Washington, you guys are able to eat in the restaurants and stuff, right? Like there's dine-in available, right?
I think so.
Yes,
in some,
yes.
So in Cali, in most counties, there's still no dine-in. So the only option is to eat outdoors. And of course, not many people are wanting to eat outdoors with the smoke and the fires and the ash being all over.
You can go to the spa though and everything. I mean, the third in command, Nancy Pelosi, he was in the spa. That's okay, right?
Yeah. So it was like a few days before it all got okayed. She was in there, but like a couple days after that, all the hair, salons and those kind of places open, but you still can't dine in most restaurants in Cali.
Oh. So wait a minute. So how are you seeing bankrupts left and right from restaurants down there? And
dude, so you know the Dickie's Barbecue, the one next door to us in Modesto.
Yeah, I eat there all the time.
Well, I know there's a few of them over there in like Everett and Marysville and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about in our area.
Yeah. Well, they closed down. The one in Modesto closed down due to COVID. They said they weren't sustaining enough business, and it's crazy. There's a bunch of businesses going out of business around here, and there's a bunch of businesses on very limited hours. I actually interviewed this lady for a job, and she was telling me that like businesses are doing shady things to avoid paying people too. Like she works at this restaurant and she works open to close, and the owners they don't give them breaks. They don't pay for overtime. And in Cali, it's mandatory to pay for overtime over 8 hours. So what they do is they make the employees clock out after like 7.5, and then they close the restaurant for 2 hours, and then they open again for dinner to avoid paying people overtime and giving breaks. Yeah, just because budgets are so tight and they're not getting enough, like they're making just enough money to like make a little profit and pay people, but not enough to like
I get it. I saw something where Elon Musk actually asked his team, his employees to take a 10% decrease in pay. And
I saw that too. Someone tweeted about that, and then he responded back. But what people don't report is that everyone got stock options, which are worth more than any pay or whatever.
Tesla was doing good, but then they sank.
Yeah,
They'll come back.
For sure.
Wow.
So it's crazy times. And the Tesla headquarters is probably like an hour away from me, like where they're, or maybe an hour and a half.
That's nuts, though. That's crazy that I mean, a lot of sketchy shit's happening, you know, with people working at these restaurants and all that. And
it's desperate times.
Oh man, dude, it's and I feel like it's just a bunch of fucking like you got the fires going on, you still got COVID and all that, you know, closing down all the restaurants, dude. It's like, man, it's just.
And you got the coin shortage.
Yeah, you got that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Do you want to wait, Brett? Are you reaching for your conspiracy hat right there?
No. Well, yeah. I think that we are heading to this time where, I mean, this is sort of aside from the main topic of everybody going out of business, but going to this cashless society. I think we are heading there, and I think that coin shortage, that is, you know, one of those excuses they're going to use. It may be real, though. I mean, right now, it wouldn't surprise me that so many people. I mean, you look at there's no global travel. People are just staying put, and I mean, it's only a matter of time before we all start to feel this thing. If for those who haven't felt it yet, I think that time is coming. I think that all of us are going to feel it. You know, I was just thinking about it the other day, or maybe earlier today, I was thinking, you know, this thing could actually impact the podcast, like, you know, with our streaming, and because you have to pay for the accounts to, you know, to host this and all that. And I was thinking, well, at least YouTube is free.
Well, Spotify's free too, but with you have to with the commercials and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about, like, in order to get our show
uploaded and all that,
we need a host, right?
Definitely. You're
it's
right.
a monthly fee, and then also with Zoom, to have the Zoom Pro account, you know, you have to pay that. And
for sure,
I was just thinking, you know, for some people that's small change, but you know, eventually that's going to come to a point where that could, you know, you might start to see fewer and fewer of your favorite podcasts out like there, you know,
of course.
and podcasts, you think about it, this is like the one thing that a lot of people have, is to be able to communicate and, you know, have that Zoom, have that Skype, have that FaceTime time with each other. I mean, we are, you know, humans are a very what do you call that, we have to stay in touch with each other. We have to, you know, we're sociable.
Well, I was telling you the other day too about Best Buy, the few times that I was there this last week, and all the stuff they were sold out of for podcasting and webcamming and vlogging.
Ring
and
lights. Dude, the line with the ring light.
Dude, yeah. Best Buy got in like 6 ring lights. I was there for something else, and there's people arguing and fighting over these 6 ring lights that Best Buy got in.
Where we're at in 2020, son.
and this isn't even Black Friday yet.
Exactly.
Right.
And I went to go
Black
get this
Monday,
microphone.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I went to go get this microphone, and they had 6, and the guy was like, "Yeah, we can't keep these in stock." And I went the next day, and all of them were sold out.
Damn. Yeah, that's kind of, I remember taking a trip to Best Buy at one point. I think it was after they lifted out the ban and like being able to go to the stores and all that. And yeah, I agree. Like everything, like from webcams, mics, ring lights, tripods, dude, everything was just completely just wiped out.
Well, and all Apple products too. Like I was waiting to get a connector for my iPad, and this lady was trying to buy an iPad, and he goes, the only one we only have one left, and it's an iPad Air, like 7th generation. Like they don't have any MacBooks, no iMacs, they have no Apple products available of any kind.
When we went to we had to get an Xbox controller for my daughter, and we had to go all around town to look. And then we finally went to GameStop, and I go, hey, do you have any Xbox controllers? And he's like, yeah, I thought you were going to ask that. He goes, we got 4 in 20 minutes ago. I only have 2 left.
Wow.
I should have snatched 2 and put one on.
You should have told me, man. I have an extra one you could have had for free.
You better put that on Offer Up, son. You get some coin.
But in case you need it, bro, you know I got you, brother.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate that.
But you know what? No. I don't want to go out without giving these people some fucking, like, the people that started that fucking fire. Now you're the fucking cause of 25 people dead, right, Scott? Can you correct me on that if I'm wrong? 25 people have died.
I'm pretty sure
that fucking 25. Fire. That's bullshit, dude. That's fucking bullshit.
Hey, listen. I know they are getting a lot of shit They are getting a lot of shit, but nobody. It was stupid, clearly stupid, but nobody. I mean, dude, I'm just thinking if I was having a gender reveal, this is supposed to be an exciting occasion.
Congrats on the baby.
And then, could you imagine how mortified they must have been when they saw?
I'm looking up the deaths
and
right now, and they said that there's 196,000 acres burned and 45,000 evacuations from that one fire.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they're feeling any positive. I mean, they're probably feeling like shit right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way they did that intentionally. It's the people. I have heard that how many fires did you say there were, Scott?
I'm gonna look up the exact number right now.
But it's just
whatever
insane,
this
man.
number is. I heard 30 of them were deliberately caused arson.
It's on purpose.
That's not helping. You know.
Yeah. No. I mean, even here, Brett, like it's insane. Like even in the area where we work, like you see the smoke. That's not. Yeah. It's not healthy. I'll tell you that right now,
dude.
So I saw a guy as of today. September 11th, 2020, a total of 7,718 fires have burned in California.
Yeah, I wonder how many
man-made arson. As on August 19th, there was 367 known fires burning at the same time.
Insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, this is and here's the thing is we just passed one round of stimulus earlier in the year, added $3 trillion to the national deficit. This, I mean, with COVID, they were already starting to scale back because I think they're realizing the Fed can only print so much. They can only use quantitative easing, and for people that don't know what quantitative easing is, that's the unlimited printing of the US dollar. You can only print so much money before it just becomes worthless. Before we have, I want to get one of those Zimbabwe $10 trillion bills that's worth nothing, because Zimbabwe, not saying we would ever get into the state of Zimbabwe, but the inflation, the hyperinflation got so bad that their $10 trillion bills were worthless.
Wow.
So you could have a $10 trillion. I think I'm going to get one just to show, where, but here's the thing. It's like, so you get crisis on top of crisis on top of crisis. Where does this thing break? Because people are breaking banks, people's finances, retirements, everything, ways of making money. I mean, everybody's taking a hit right now. If you're a policeman, you absolutely hate your job right now. If you're, there's no one, I just don't see anybody except for Jeff Bezos is happy right now because Amazon's rocking it.
400 billion, 300 billion. He's up there, right?
Even with a divorce. And he's still the richest man. So, all right.
Wish that was me.
That's insane, though. That's insane.
Yeah. So, with let's switch topics. That's crazy. That's crazy. I just don't know how this is. I think that we're waiting for better weather. That's the only thing that's going to save this thing. Remember what Australia went through last year? They had the world's largest fire. Dude, we have the whole West Coast on fire.
Didn't you say they were evacuating Portland earlier today?
They have told Portland, to be ready to evacuate. Portland.
Yeah, it's here. It's close.
Where are the protesters going to go?
They're gonna duke it out in the Inferno Circle.
Oh, you're gonna start seeing Wyoming, Jackson Hole, just
right in front of Kanye's
protesters, rural areas. Farmers are gonna be like, "What the heck is going on? They're tipping our cows. You got beef with my milk."
Yeah, I just hope this all clears out. Honestly, we definitely need some rain right about now.
Man. All right, so Eddie, is there anything you want to talk about? Because I've got something on the burner ready to go.
Fuck it, let's flip that switch.
You want to go into mine?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, so normally I don't really I've been really trying to stay away from the social media stuff, the petty stuff.
Yeah.
One little petty argument between a couple of gals that caught my attention. And if there's one thing I like, it's a good girl fight. And this one just happened to be with Cardi B versus Candace Owens. And so Cardi B, she is the daughter of a Dominican father and a Trinidadian mother, and she was raised in the South Bronx. She's a rapper, and before she was a rapper, she was a stripper who bragged about drugging men and robbing them. Didn't J-Lo make a movie on that? Wasn't that, I don't know, was that based on Cardi B?
No.
I don't know, actually. I think
I saw a lot of similarities.
I forgot what the name was called, but yeah, there was a movie like that. Yeah.
It was Hustlers.
Right. Hustlers.
You're
right.
Hustlers. So anyway, so she, and if you've ever heard Cardi B, she talks with a very thick accent, and she gives credit to her paternal grandmother who raised her. She spent a lot of time with her paternal grandmother, so that's where she got that. But all of a sudden, she went from stripping to rapping to now she's getting her feet wet with politics. And so she sat down with presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, who I'm sure all of you remember that Breakfast Club interview where he was talking to Charlemagne, the man. And he says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You ain't black. And I don't know if Charlemagne ever responded to that or whatever, but so I think, so obviously Biden had to go into damage control. He immediately took Kamala Harris as his vice president nominee. And then obviously he's trying to reach out to the black communities. And so he sat down with Cardi B, and who is not black, right? I mean, Dominican and Trinidadian. I don't know. That's
Latin for sure, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. There's something else, definitely.
yeah.
Afro Latina. I would consider like Afro Latina. So I don't know though. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Don't come after me.
Hey. At least it's not me. But so they sat down with this interview, and then the interview they're talking about police brutality, COVID-19, the 2020 election, and how they're trying to get everybody to vote Trump out of office because a lot of people that are protesting are anti-Trump. There's a lot of, and they are blaming, I think they're blaming the police brutality on Trump or the systemic racism in this country. And so right now the Black Lives Matter movement has a lot of traction and they're running with it. And so Candace Owens, who is a conservative, she's also a black female. She is a conservative author, a commentator, and political activist. And she's grown in notoriety for her pro-Trump activism and as a black woman, and as well as her criticism of Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. So she caught wind of this Cardi B interview, and she starts, going at her. Everybody got Twitter fingers going on. And so, they went at it. Cardi B and Candace Owens were just going back and forth. And eventually Cardi B ended up deleting her 9 insults to Candace Owens because even Cardi B's fans were like, listen, you lost. Cardi B basically got dog walked in this whole Twitter spat. And it was crazy. It was ruthless, but it was just shows like there's been this movement these past few years, where people from the entertainment industry and the entertainment sports are getting more and more involved in politics. But the thing that we are seeing though is that people are getting so involved in emotion that a lot of the facts are getting lost. So when people are coming in with the facts and you're getting hit with it, then you end up looking stupid in front of your fans, in front of the world. And that's basically what happened with Cardi B. And so I think that if I could just sum it up to one thing that LeBron James, what's her name? Some lady on Fox News told LeBron James, pissed him off, said to shut up and dribble, right?
Wasn't it Laura Ingraham?
Laura was. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, Laura Ingraham.
So all I say is shut up and vote. to anybody, because if there's so much going on, and it's okay if you have your opinion and you can even have your bias, but if you're not coming in with the facts, or if you are just going to outright deny facts and just pretend like those facts don't exist, then you're doing a detriment to all of us. And that's basically what's dividing us right now, is that you have both sides. I mean, it's like, I've always, I've never considered myself in the middle. I've just always considered myself independent. I will choose what I feel is right. And, people will say, oh, you're in the middle. You're in the middle. Dude, I've pissed off my liberal friends and I've pissed off my conservative friends. Most of the time, I feel like I'm on my own island when it comes to my thoughts and my views, because I try to let those facts tell themselves. And so anyway, and so that's what we're seeing in this whole thing, is that, with this, basically what happened to Cardi B is what it was a good lesson for all of us to see, is that if you don't have the facts, just stop. Even if you have this huge platform, use that platform for what got you big. And if you do educate yourself and you want to, be more outspoken, make sure you have those facts in order, but don't go out there and make an embarrassment of yourself. And, and I just think that there's a lot of people that I think that with what Cardi B, what she's saying, like, there are some things, if she just did a little bit more research, she could have some good points to stand on, but she just used her platform as just a way to get the views, the attention, the clout, but didn't actually do anything with it. So she really fumbled on that one. So that's what I wanted to say with that one.
I didn't really catch the video of it. I haven't really seen it, so I mean, I can't really give my 2 cents in it. But you're right. I mean, you have to have facts to back whatever it is that you're trying to make a point, when you're trying to make a point, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, with Laura Ingraham, let's touch on that, though. That is kind of sketchy. So you're telling LeBron James, when he's speaking his mind freely, right? When they ask him a question, whatever it was, when they asked him on air, she tells him to shut up and dribble. But when it comes to homeboy, what's his name? I don't know who she was talking about.
LeBron James.
No, it was somebody else. She's like, no, he has the free will to speak about whatever he wants and whatever he believes in, all blah. But why do you tell LeBron something differently then? So why are you being biased at that point?
Again, that's
shit like that, right? Shit like that. That's what I'm talking about.
The time. No, absolutely. Yeah. You're dead on, and that's why I find it very hard to pick sides. I mean, it
was Drew Brees.
Right.
She was defending Drew Brees.
Yeah. And I like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I like Drew Brees.
And Drew Brees did get thrown under the bus. He has helped so many kids, the underprivileged, everything. He has done so much.
Yep.
And what was his whole thing? Was just for standing for the flag? Is that what
standing for the flag? But he was, so he was standing by the flag and all that. And Laura Ingraham said that, well, he has the right as an American citizen to stand up for whatever he wants. He can talk freely about it, blah, blah, blah. But you didn't tell LeBron that, though. Why is that? Why is that, Laura?
And that's the game that those people play. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That's what I think, though. But you're right. Come with the facts. Come with your shit ready. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they should honestly have this could brace herself to fucking have a political debate with Candace. I mean, they can both fucking go at it, and that could be a big thing for both their
Candace
platforms.
And Cardi B?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want that. I mean, they just had it. They just had it, and Cardi B had to delete her thing. And then Candace Owens, she ended up posting a Photoshop picture of her face on Jordan's body dunking, and
the memes are crazy. I think that's like your
would. Yeah, what did she say though? Yeah, I forget. Yeah, but it was. Oh yeah, it's just. She said that Cardi B's fans told her to tap out. She's dunking on her.
Oh man,
the meme. Crazy, what a weird time to be in a beef, right?
Oh dude, that's a new beef wave. The meme wars. That's kind of like the new wave.
Oh god,
the new wave of beef.
Dude.
Yeah, man.
So now we're kind of talking about sports. We had the first game the other night. What was it? Kansas City Chiefs and Texans.
Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened to that game? I didn't watch it, so I can't.
I didn't either, but
it was crazy.
Was it really?
So Scott, fill us in on that.
Well, they stayed the Texans stayed in the locker room for the national anthem and the Black Lives Matter anthem. And then they came out at midfield, and both teams linked arms in the middle of the field as like a sign of unity. Oh. And then the fans that were in the stands, like there was some cheering, but there was definitely some booing being had by the fans in the stands when these teams were linking arms together. And no one was like against it wasn't against the flag, against Black Lives Matter, against Blue Lives Matter. There was nothing against anything. It was just, we're all in this together. Like, we're on different teams, but we're in this together. And they still got booed for that. And J.J. Watt, the star player on the Texans, at the end of the game was like, I don't understand what the booing was for. I'm pretty confused on why we got booed for that.
I think it was just because the NFL has given BLM such a large platform this year, and I think they're just trying to make up for Colin Kaepernick.
They have those messages on the back of their helmets, similar to the ones that the NBA has on their jerseys.
For so many years, the NFL has been pro-military, pro-soldiers. I can't tell you how many times I've seen, armed forces display or whatever. And, I think that what happens is this year, I understand why people are upset with the movement, because, basically with this movement, there's been a tremendous loss of property damage, multiple homicides on both sides. I mean, we're seeing they're killing each other. Both sides are killing each other. It's by no means a peaceful thing. And so this is a very controversial thing. And, people that are against this, against the NFL teaming up with BLM, are saying that they're getting woke. They're trying to get woke points, and they're going to lose. I saw somewhere that golf on TV had higher ratings than the NFL.
I think a lot of people thought that the MLB, the NBA, and the NHL and the NFL were going to bring people back together, and it's not anything what people expected to have sports back again so far.
Answer me this. And this is, again, we're talking unity, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it myself. I'm not seeing any type of embrace by either side. The players, I think that was a good thing to be able to link arms, and maybe if they can keep going and keep doing that, because there really are systemic racial issues in this country. But when you have a movement such as BLM that has just done that's allowed so much stuff to happen, and it's crazy. It's like, I think of the 60s when we had all those race riots, and you had MLK out there, and he had 1 million people in Washington D.C. And that to me was the message. There weren't people, there were people dying back then because there was still a lot of anger and hurt back then, but it wasn't being like, you never heard Martin Luther King Jr. ever promote violence, promote death, ignore it either. It was, we've got to get over this, judge a man by his character, by the content of his character, not the color of his skin. And today, I'm not seeing that. I think that the NFL, that they've backed themselves into a corner because they realized what they did with Kaepernick was wrong. They should have just let him protest. But I think that there was a lot of people, the owners, that were trying to squash it. But it became the wildfire. It became this wildfire that, just like what we're seeing on the West Coast, out of control. And I think the only thing that's going to put this thing out is time. And eventually the fighting is going to eventually end. I just don't know what the end looks like. What does the end results look like?
It's been going on for a while now, right? Sorry to cut you off, Scott, but it's been going on for a while. These protests are still going on, which I'm pretty surprised that they're still happening. So it's, you're right, Brett. When are we going to see the end of this, and what is the end going to look like? And I just want to say, like, let's go back to what you were saying about the stuff that, like, let's say the bad baggage that BLM has, right? And I kind of look at it this way though. It's just like any other group of people, right? You're always going to have those that are really kind of walking that straightforward line, but you're always going to have those they're going to walk, away from that, and they're going to do some bullshit. Absolutely. So it's like with anybody else, like good cop, bad cop. You have those, good cops that are actually trying to go out there, make a difference, and abide by the law and all that, and do the correct thing. And you're always gonna have those suckers that are gonna go out there and use that to their advantage. And I have the power, out of the law. You're gonna obey me.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I'm telling you,
that's how I look at it.
No, you're right. And with the police, they have become more heavily armed. I mean, they look like military soldiers on these streets, and yeah. I'm pro police to the end, to the core. But being pro police, I understand that there is a lot that they need to work on. And, sure. I know what they're facing. They face so much. They feel like their lives are at risk every day. But I think that when it comes to the point where I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I think if it comes to the point where a police has to use his gun, and kill somebody, they're humans just like you and all of us. I would never, ever, ever want to take another man's life, even if someone is breaking into my home, and I have to. There's nothing that could ever make me feel good about having to do that, and so I think that if that ever happens to a police officer, you got to get him off. You got to get him or her off the force, or off of at least that part, put him on administrative and get them some counseling. But also, we're talking about defunding police. I think what we really need to do is reallocate funds instead of beefing up the military. Have your special SWAT team like we've always had, right? But train these people how to handle this conflict. Get the police involved with the communities again. We used to have police in our schools, and we used to, I remember when I was a kid, like, I wanted one day to be a police officer, and then I got older, and then I got, dude, I've been tackled by police. I've been tackled by 2 police. I've been, there was one police officer when I got followed home one time, and I got punched. The guy followed me home and cornered me in my car and was just punching. I was 17, and I called the sheriff, and the sheriff said he was going to arrest me. Why would you arrest me? And so you deal with these police. I haven't had a lot of good interactions with police, and so I understood for a while. I was like, F y'all. But then, more and more of my friends started becoming police, and they started, giving me their end of it. It really opened my eyes to what they are really facing on a day-to-day basis. And it's something that none of us can ever imagine unless you are someone who has served in war, because a lot of the times these days, I don't know what has happened to our society, but these days we've just become a very violent society, and we don't view the loss of life. It's so funny because I just said I would never want to take somebody's life and it would stick with me. But overall, we hear of so many people losing their lives that it just doesn't even, we've become so desensitized to it. And I don't know. That's why I'm at a loss right now at what we do, other than I think that there needs to be training, there needs to be counseling, and a new approach. I don't want to say a softer approach, but a more integrated approach with the communities. And we got to get the trust back. And I think that the war on drugs in the 80s, I think that really set a lot of stuff in place. You take a lot of fathers out of homes, and this was stuff that the CIA has done. They planted crack in the inner city neighborhoods where it was predominantly Black neighborhoods. You start taking fathers out of all these homes, right? And it was something that the government did. I understand when I hear them talking about reparations, they're not just talking about slavery. They're talking about modern times. You're talking about going into neighborhoods in modern times and destroying homes. And, and now you see why like one of the things they're talking about with BLM that it's hard for me to wrap my head around is they want to get away from the nuclear family, and they want to go with a more community raise. They want a community to raise the child. And I think that, with me, I did, even though I don't have a fantastic relationship with my parents, I would still much rather have my parents raise me and then go out in this world, because you get that one-on-one time that you don't get being raised in a community. So, I mean, again, there's just a lot of, there's been a lot of wrongs that, and I think that we are facing the reckoning as a society. I don't think any of us get out scot-free in this.
Scot-free.
That's right. That's right.
But free Scott.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Scott. What were you saying though? I don't want to be
No, it's all good. I was just saying, when we were talking about Colin Kaepernick, I don't know if you guys saw that I sent to the Tip Touch Instagram that Kaepernick, that they decided to put Kaepernick in the new Madden game. They did an update. And it's crazy how all of a sudden he's a free agent in the game now.
Didn't it kind of remind you of Muhammad Ali, though? Remember when they wouldn't let him box and he had to go all the way to be the Thrilla in Manila?
One of the biggest fights of the century, man.
And then, and then, they finally said, okay, you can have your name, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad was just such a scary name to them back then. No, we like it when you're Cassius Clay.
Cassius Clay. That was crazy. That was insane.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it was, when we see something bold, I mean, taking a knee, and that's the thing, that's what we're going to look back on this, right? And I mean, people are already looking back. The NFL, they're looking back at that, like, why did we make such a huge issue of him kneeling? Like, let him kneel. Why did we make a big deal of Cassius Clay wanting to be Muhammad Ali when he converted to Islam? Not a big deal, right? I mean, you just let people make their decisions. I mean, are we the land of the free, or are we the land of the free? What are we?
So that's kind of like you being hypocrite against your own right for yourself, but you're worrying about the other man or woman or whatever, for them doing something.
Yeah. I mean, and it goes,
I don't get it. Yeah.
I
don't understand.
That's crazy.
I do want to talk about that Joe Budden incident on where we were talking about his exit out of his Spotify deal. And the reason I want to talk about this because it's so interesting in regards to streams and just how they count that and how they value that. And that's one thing I never really understood. So the main question I wanted to ask, so what happened with Joe Budden? They gave him an offer. And obviously him as being a successful podcast, the Joe Budden podcast, I've listened to a couple of times. It's a good show or a good pod. And he feels like he knows his value. He knows his worth. He knows what he brings to the table, and he knows what he brings to Spotify, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for him to get kind of lowballed and kind of just like, okay, so you're going to just give me this offer, me knowing that I'm bringing a lot of numbers and I see my numbers, my stats and all that, and you're going to give me something that I feel I should deserve more. But here's the thing. Like, okay, I'm following it. But he was saying in this one interview or in this one part of his podcast, he was kind of trying to decipher who's calling the shots on what they value. Like, let's say us, right? We're reeling the numbers. We see the progression. We see the high percentage of listens and downloads and all that. But they throw us a low ball. My question to them is, how do you determine the value of us? How do you determine what each stream costs? How do you put that into dollars and cents, then to come up with an offer for us, to sign to you, to go to you only, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is, the crazy thing is, he was getting the runaround about this stuff. Nobody would give him a definite answer. He was asking questions, and the one thing he said, he's like, this doesn't have to be about money. It's like, this is for everybody to think that I'm making a big deal about this because of the money. It's not that. It's all about the information, the stuff that I'm trying to figure out for myself, to how these so-called streaming services determine anybody's value.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I never really looked into it to see, like, okay, the Tip Touch podcast, for every download, we're going to give you $2. But it's actually really like point
5 cents or
dude. Yeah, it's some crazy low number. So I'm like, how do they determine that? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good question, right? And Spotify actually made a request saying that they're moving to a requirement where they want musician artists to release a certain amount of albums every other year. So how's that fair to any other artist to work?
You're going back to the record labels, and that was the whole thing that broke the music industry. That's what got Master P selling CDs out of his car.
His trunk, right?
Yeah, yep. And that's so. But now, what do you do when we're all on a digital field? You have to use somebody's streaming platform.
Definitely.
Well, that's like your boy Brett 6ix9ine.
his boy.
I defended him once.
He went out and was giving away the CDs on the streets of New York yesterday or the day before because his numbers were nowhere near what he was saying and telling people they would be. He was giving the CDs away to people on CDs, and I'm like, dude, my car doesn't even have a CD player. How the hell would I listen to that if I wanted to?
Man,
go buy one.
Hey, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where you go to places like Arizona, heavily white concentrated communities, and they are jamming 6ix9ine in the club.
Well, I said that to say about 6ix9ine.
They like him
because he was talking about that too. That he got hammered on the streams. He thinks that they didn't accurately record his streams and things like that to get the top sales or whatever.
Didn't the thing with him and Nicki Minaj, like they set some sort of a record with
their new song, and then he said it wasn't because of Nicki, it was because of me. Nicki had nothing to do with that, basically.
Yeah, so he's being just as dishonest as they are.
Yeah, but he was, I don't have all the facts in front of me, but he was saying something along the lines of like what Eddie was saying about the streams, they're not counted right. And I mean, obviously he has a lot of ammunition against him to why people wouldn't want to, but that doesn't make it right for people to be biased against him. But
sorry, I'm getting personal.
So the one thing I can say is what a lot of artists are doing to make a stream count as an actual stream or an actual purchase of an album. I don't know if you know this, Brett, and it was kind of under our noses. So what artists are doing now, let's say you're an artist, right? You're going to release your album. What's another good way to have people buy your album aside from just it being good music and you're a good musician at this point, right? Okay, if you buy a sweater, we'll throw in the album for free. If you buy this shirt, we'll throw the album for free. That's what they're doing now. They're actually making bundles to where they're selling merch, but with that, the album is tied in with that merch, so that automatically counts as a purchase of an album.
And that's what happened when he released, I think, Gooba was like, it came out around the same time Justin Bieber came out with a single with like Ariana Grande or something. And they were throwing in some like limited edition signed poster or something like that. And he was saying that wasn't fair because of that.
Yeah. They're getting crafty with their stuff, man. And it's kind of like,
hey, love him or hate him, I love what Jay-Z did with Tidal. He started his own thing.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, and he got some big names. I think that's the secret to that is you have to get some big names or be the big name. But he created his own streaming service.
Yes, he did.
To rival with Apple and that sort of reminds me. This sort of ties in with what's going on with Epic Games and Apple Music. Do you guys know that there's a beef going on with those?
Let's touch that. That's actually a good one that I want to know from my own personal, just to know. I heard about it. I know they're in a lawsuit with Apple for not for Epic Games
and
Google for not having their game on their platforms, right?
Taking them off. And that's basically crazy. What they were doing was so Apple and Google both charge game designers, game makers, developers, thank you, 30% to excuse me.
Wow. Ooh.
I'm gonna leave that in.
I'll leave that in, all right.
Oh yeah, you're on the video edit. So anyway, so Apple and Google both charge the developers 30% of sales, right?
Okay.
So Epic Fortnite, basically what they were trying to do was they were trying to skirt around the Apple thing by having their own thing in the game where you could buy V-Bucks and whatever, right? You could buy directly from them and then try to get it away from Apple. Well, Apple's like, you can't do that, and they kicked him off the platform. They said, you can't do that. So then they're like, okay, well, we're going to take you to court because you cannot charge 30%. 30% is a large sum of money. So then I did a little bit more research into this, and so Epic Games, basically, they want to have their own, I think they want to have their own platform to rival Google and Apple so that they can have games on theirs so that people can go to them, developers can go to them, and then they'll start doing this. So I think that's the 3D chess thing going on right now, is because
wouldn't they be in a contract with them for the
30%? What's that?
Wouldn't they be in a contract with them for the 30%?
They would, but then they've obviously grown so much that I think now they're saying the time is right. Now the time is right. And so this has been their game plan all along, I'm sure. But it is a lot of what it is. We're up against big tech. We are seeing platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram that are canceling accounts left and right. I just heard something about Joe Rogan. He just went to Spotify, and there's something about him, like he's already in controversy with them. Something about deleting some of his past episodes that people didn't like, that Spotify didn't like. And, again, Spotify is one of these companies that they're going woke. And if you don't go to theirs, and that was the whole thing that Joe Rogan supposedly was standing up against, was censorship. That's why he had Jack Dorsey and the gal, the lawyer or whatever, that was on his show, and they were talking about that. That's why he had them talking about, why do you have to cancel all these people? One of Joe Rogan's largest, most streamed episodes was with Alex Jones, because Joe Rogan gives those platforms to people that are canceled by the cancel.
That was one of the episodes that was taken off, was the Alex Jones one.
Yeah, and that's, again, you talk those streams, that streams money, and you start taking my money away from me. I'm the one taking the risk by getting a polarized figure like that, and then now you're going to tell me I can't make that money? So, I mean, I get it. I get why these people are upset. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what this Joe Budden thing turns out. It looks like there's a growing number, and there's people that probably we haven't even heard of.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to, like you were saying, they might have to even make their own, like, you stream it yourself and just have a way to outsource your episodes and your video content on something that you can control, put a value on yourself to say, okay, for a monthly subscription to our podcast only, it's like, let's say $3.99 a month or whatever, or, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I think it's going to get to that point where you're going to have to actually go independent and not even rely on any of these major platforms.
I think divide it. With you know what I'm saying? I think that this whole thing that we've gotten used to, everything being free, and Scott, chime in if you want. I know that we're kind of squeezing you out here.
No. He's just right there. He's right there.
I'm right there.
But we've gotten so used to everything being free. Oh, okay, I'm just going to listen to this. I love this show. I listen to it every day. But if I were ever to be asked to pay for this, I would never want to do that. But I think ultimately, I think we are going to that point. I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to compete with the big money, the Googles, the Amazons, the Apples, is that we have to be able to, maybe throw your clips out there for free, but Eddie, you and I have talked about that on some of the topics. Like we'll do some of the mainstream stuff for free, but then some of the stuff, when we get down to the nitty gritty, we'll have our own premium
Patreon. That's what it is.
Something
you subscribe,
like that, yeah.
You subscribe for a monthly fee, and we'll talk some like off the rails type shit, like you would say, but that would be that exclusive content once we build our beautiful fan base out there. But yeah, that's definitely, I think that it's going to get to that point, man. And if you have people that are going to follow you and fuck with you heavy, that they'll definitely, throw in those $4 a month or whatever you want to call it, So
yeah,
it's going to get interesting, man. I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen. And yeah, man, I mean, shit, see what happens.
Definitely. Is there anything else? I have one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Dude, just fucking go. Let's just fucking drive through it, bro. You have the wheel. I'm just me and Scott are fucking drinking our Coronas. Like, you know, he's in the back. He's got the aux cable on his phone, and I'm just sipping, dude. That's it. You're driving, dude, and smoking.
Smoking. Hey,
which by the way, those Cohibas were amazing, dude. Yeah. Me and Miguel were talking about it. Shout out to Miguel. Follow him at mind.soul.official at instagram.com. Dude, yeah, awesome guy. And go check out that episode too as well. It's on our YouTube. First video.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Miguel, that was just so much fun. Just being able just to kick back, man. If we could smoke every session.
Oh, dude.
But anyway,
not cause forest fire. So
too soon.
I know. Hashtag too soon. Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. But okay. One thing I want to talk about was, and I have to come out with a disclaimer that I'm not a financial expert or professional, so don't take any of what I'm about to say as advice. I want you to talk to your own financial advisor or professional with all this. But I got my money right. My money's doing good, and I know how to make my money work for me. And I've been paying a lot of attention to the whole economy, the economy as a whole. And I'm not talking just a certain industry. I'm not talking just the country. I'm talking the whole world. The whole world right now, we are up against so much financial pressure that I think we are on the cusp of reckoning, a financial reckoning. And basically what happened was my mind started going into high gear, kicking into high gear during the early days of the pandemic, when we were all loving life, being laid off and getting more money to stay at home than we were actually working, right? There were people that did not want to go back to work because they were making more being unemployed. They're like, let me just roll this one out, let me just get some time. And I was like, that's not right. And at that time, I think we were 23 trillion in debt or something. And then we're now at like $26.5 trillion in debt after this latest, the last stimulus check was put out. We are now hitting at we're sitting at 104% over in debt to our GDP. So our GDP, we're making however many trillions, whatever a year, but our debts are 104% to that. The last time we were that much in debt was 106% after the World War II. And so those were hard times. Now I've been paying attention. Now I listened to a couple of people that I really like. One of them, his name is Peter Schiff, and he's actually, I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's how I got him. And he gained notoriety after the financial collapse of 2009, I should say, where he predicted it. He said, you guys, we are in a bubble. We are in a bubble and it's going to pop. And so I've been listening to him, a lot of times. And one thing he talks about is right now there's this mania in the stock market that is unsustained. People are over investing, right? And so you look at your Robinhood investors, you look at your day traders, you look at all the small money going into the stock market, right? Well, we just took a walloping. Anybody who was a small time investor as of late, we were so happy. We heard Apple was doing a 4-1 split. We heard Tesla was doing a 5-1 split, and we all went in, right? We all went in heavy. And then 2 days later, and I knew it. I read it. I said, to me, like when you hear that a stock splits, right? It doesn't mean that it's growing in value. What it's doing is it's splitting to allow more people to afford a share. But in this day and age, you don't need to do that. You have Robinhood where you can buy fractional shares. So if you have, so if Apple is like right now it's at like 130 or something, and say, but at the time before the split, it was up almost $500, right? If you didn't have $500 and you had the Robinhood app, you could put $100 into your share and have a fractional share. Well, anyway, so it made no sense to me when I hear that these stocks were splitting. I'm like, that makes no sense. We don't need to do that. But the people that didn't understand that went heavy on it. And it only took 2 days after that split for a correction to take place. A correction is where you lose money, right? And of course I invest with my daughter's account, and I'm like, so right now I'm looking at it and I've taken some hits. I'm still doing way good because if you're a long-term investor, you're doing good, but you still need to pay attention. And so I was looking at this, and my portfolio is looking really good still, even with this hit. But I'm looking at this new stimulus check that's about to get out. I'm looking at the West Coast is on fire. What else is going to happen? What other financial crises are we going to face? Or is there another bubble that we're facing? So Peter Schiff talks about a bond bubble that is about to burst. And basically, we're getting to the point where the Fed cannot continue to print endless amounts of money, and because it becomes worthless. Again, what we were talking about earlier. So there's another guy, and this is what I texted Scott this morning. I said, hey, I'm going to tell you something that's going to hurt your stomach. But of course, I was exaggerating. I like to exaggerate. But there's a guy, he's another gold guy. And he says, let's see, one market expert says, this is out of Business Insider. The headline is, the worst crash in our lifetime. One market expert says stocks are screaming toward a Great Depression-like setup in early 2021 and warns of an 80 and 90% plunge. It isn't out of the question. And so basically he's saying that, we are so overextended. And, right now, we're flirting with war with China. We just had a plane, one of our spy planes, fly over Chinese islands. They got up in the air. They flew into the sky as an American airplane, turned their transponder to turn into a, Malaysian airline? I think it was Malaysia or some other country around there. So Malaysian airlines can fly around China all day long. They have a good deal, but American spy planes can't. So that's what they did. And I'm like, and so China, someone found out that they did, put the screenshot up there. So, here we are, we're flirting with all this war. Right now you're seeing Warren Buffett. He got into, right before the whole Apple tech little pop there correction, he got into Barrick Gold. It's basically a mining company, and he's been one of those guys that he takes a stance against gold. Says nope, gold doesn't do anything for you. It does nothing. But gold for the last 3,000 years has always been money to people. We've always used gold as currency, silver as currency. And so now all of a sudden you're seeing Warren Buffett go heavy into a gold mining industry. And you're like, wow, not only is he in gold, but he's actually in the industry that's getting it out of the ground. So what I just recommend when I say this type of stuff, I think that we're at a very volatile time. And if you're anyone who's 30, 40 years old, you have your family, you have people to look out for, I think this is the time that you talk to your financial advisor and you say, hey, what can we do? I think it's a time to get out of as much debt as you can. And, for us, we own a home. And if we were to have a catastrophic drop in the market, we could potentially be upside down in our home, meaning we owe more for the home than what it's worth. And during the Great Depression, see the difference between the Great Depression. This is why I exaggerate. I was telling Scott I exaggerate because back then when the Great Great Depression happened, there was no FDIC. That's when the New Deal took place, when Delano Roosevelt, Franklin, FDR took over with the New Deal and started putting in safeguards into the economy. But the one thing that our politicians haven't been doing, and I followed Ron Paul for the longest time, and one of his main messages was end the Fed, because of this reckless spending. We're just paying for wars we can't afford. We're paying for just, you look at all the stuff that we're paying for, and we just cannot afford it. And you can't tax yourself out of this. That's what's scary about it, is you can't tax yourself out of this. So we're as a nation, we're becoming overextended, but the whole world as a whole is facing the same thing. So, they used to say that when America sneezes, the world catches a cold. And I think that right now we are facing a very scary time. So I just recommend anybody, Tip Touch listeners, that talk to your financial advisor. If you've got a 401k, are you prepared to lose 50% of it if the market drops just like that? What is your plan? And I'm telling you, man, when I talked to a guy, he was 65, and this is in 2011. I saw him, and he was 65. And I'm like, man, you're too old to be working. Why are you doing? He's moving slow, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I lost all my money in the recession. So I got to come back here, So it can happen. It can happen. And I told him, I said, why didn't you let your financial advisor? He said, my financial advisor told me to hold on. So that's another thing to be weary of too. If there's signs where, it's you're seeing your money, going down, pay attention. Right now is the time. Most people don't even know how a 401k works. They know they're contributing to it each month, but they don't know how it works. And if you really look at another guy that I listen to, his name is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, for anybody who knows. He talks a lot about the stock market with the manipulation that goes on. And that's essentially what we saw with the Apple and Tesla going on, where your Robinhood, your small time investors, your day traders were all going heavy on those stocks. Big money came in, played the game, said, hey, we got to clean up these guys. Made a lot of people poor after those 2 days. Excuse me. So really, I mean, it's something that is true, near and dear. I've been, I'm someone who came from nothing. I came from nothing. I've grown, and I've built a very good life for my family, for my, being able to know that I'm going to be paying for my both my daughters' college. It's a beautiful thing. But I got there from a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of times where I could go out to eat here and there, or I can just say, you know what, we'll just make something at home and we'll just put all that extra money in her portfolio. So, and so with that, it's not money I want to lose. So I'm paying really close attention to my portfolio right now. And I just, again, recommend that if you have your own portfolio and you need more advice, find someone. If you don't understand the stock market, or if you don't feel confident, find a financial advisor. That's what I recommend. Booyah! That's it.
Yeah, and like I said, man, it's great. Yeah, it's some good knowledge to drop on people, because so a lot of people, when they talk about stocks, or they think about stocks, or just in the long run, right? Like, what am I gonna have, or how am I gonna build to have money when I'm 50, 60, whatever, right? I feel like a lot of people don't get that. I guess, how would you say, there's no class for it, unless you go to school and all that shit, right? But like, coming from like when you're going to school and all that, elementary, high school, they don't teach you that shit in fucking school.
I tell people that all the time.
That's what's crazy. See what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's stuff out there to learn, man. There's a lot of sources out there, resources to use to fucking learn that shit. I mean, my boy Brett right here talks about that. So it's like, I mean, chime in with him.
That's definitely something I'm interested in, and I have been just really contemplating my own path in life, and knowing that if knowledge is really, it's not so much money, because I started my daughter's portfolio with $2,000, right? And just in a short time, I was able to double it, and then it's just grown from there. And I'm like, this is awesome, right? And then, but it was cool because I got to take there were some stocks that I was paying attention, stuff that I had to learn. I had to learn how to read a balance sheet. What are some ratios that you want to look at? How do you know when a good stock is a good stock? Well, you have to understand the language of that balance sheet. That's one thing. That's just one of many things, but you really have to do. And if you listen to really good people, sorry, this beer is hitting me. If you really listen to people that are like good investors, I listen to Motley Fool a lot. That's a really good one. That's all like a 30-minute little thing, and they are really good. But they had this really good guest on here, and he was saying that he has less than 10 stocks, 10 different companies, so that he's not looking, because again, you have to understand these companies that you're going into. What is the leadership like? What, are they good leaders to their people, to their employees? What are they doing for the community? You have to know the full picture. A lot of these Robinhood investors, they're just going in blind. They're just like, okay, we're going to look at this candlestick graph, and yeah, okay. But a lot of them got burned. A lot of them got burned because they weren't paying attention to the financial data that is out there, that is publicly, that is legally there. The companies are legally required to produce and furnish for investors. And if you don't understand that, then you are literally shooting at the hip. You might get lucky. Those people that get lucky, they're just as lucky as the people that hit the slot machine and hit the jackpot. But I'm telling you, when they lose, they're going to lose hard. And knowledge is power, like they say.
Knowledge is power. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Dude, this is the day. This is September 12th. Tomorrow's the 13th. Tomorrow, that is that's when Tupac died.
Oh, dude.
Man.
I'm definitely bumping all eyes on me to work.
Yeah, dude. Tomorrow, Pac is definitely going to play.
R.I.P. Pac. Miss you, brother. Miss you. Oh, but yeah, speaking of just on the topic of music and just rap, we went to Yungmbree's little event last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I think it was. It was awesome little turnout, man. He had the people there. He had some food. Which, by the way, dude, the food, the pupusas. Pupusas is a Salvadorian dish. It's like it's kind of like, think about it as your quesadilla, some really amazing cheese and sauce. They were selling those. Oh man, dude, I wish I would have had more than two, man. I regret that. But food was amazing. Milka was there. Shout out to Trippy Barber.
Yeah.
She was there doing some free lineups. So whoever wanted a lineup, she was doing them for free. And we definitely chopped it up with Bree. Just kind of got a little update. Just caught up with a little bit of things. Talked about his merch that he released, which I'm wearing right now, as you can tell. Shout out to Bree right there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
He was dropping those off. And this is one thing that I want to remind myself, or remind people, not myself, to show you how much this guy is a true hustler. He had some stuff for sale that day of the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he actually made an announcement that he was going to sell more merch because I guess some of the stuff wasn't ready for that day, but he was going to have some after that. So he was actually hand delivering these shirts and sweaters himself, going from Everett, Seattle, Linwood, and if correct, I don't know if I'm right on this, but he's gonna go to California and sell some stuff over there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
nice.
Dude, he's grinding out there. He's trying to get his name out. So I mean, shout out to Yungbree for inviting us. Definitely had an awesome time. We will definitely have to have a sit down with him. But go check him out at _ Yungbree _ for Instagram. Go check his music out.
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. Man, no, that's good stuff. I wish I could have. I wish I could have baited out that day. I couldn't. I hate it. I hate.
I was there for the both of us, baby.
Man,
and you're rocking a shirt there. That shirt that you're wearing there yourself. I was rocking it. It's definitely spreading the word about the TikTok podcast.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely. It was.
Dude, that turned out good though. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to spread the word, and of course, how to definitely be representing the podcast there with wifey, of course.
Love it. Yeah, love it, man. That's good stuff.
For sure.
What else? Scott, you got anything to leave us with?
Oh, yeah, I know. Scott's a little quiet. He's kind of like now just chilling in the back seat.
Like, I got some merch.
I don't really have too much to say. I think people should just be reminded that when they go out and stuff, that everyone's having a tough time, and to be mindful of the people that are out there working, and whether it's firefighters, especially right now, or law enforcement, or people at the stores, or you just see too many altercations with customers versus customer versus retail, restaurant worker, or customer versus manager, and it's just like, it's too crazy right now. There's too many things going on and everyone's so emotional that people just need to be reminded that to be a little bit extra nice right now, and just be more mindful of how other people are feeling, and other people might be going through a worse time than everyone else going through the same thing together.
Dude, that's so good to hear, and that's very good advice, because like we were talking before the podcast, like late last week was just a crazy week for me. I was just under so much pressure. I was getting hit from every angle. Like, life was just hitting me at every angle, and I was just like, just taking them, and I got quiet, and I knew, though, it was like, I knew that what I was, what I was putting out, the energy I was putting out, it was really like it was hitting people. Like, I saw Eddie and Scott, you felt it too, but the people that I interact with every day, like face to face, 8 hours a day, were really like, damn, what's what's going on? And so I just finally, I was sleeping, just getting ready for bed the other night, and I was just like, just, it's all in your head. Like, just sort all of this shit out, get it going, and just try to just push all that negative shit away. Just try to push it away, and just see where you can go, And so I just totally just did some self-talk, self-motivation, and I just went out there and I just said, you know what, nothing's gonna frustrate me today. I'm not gonna be on edge. I'm just gonna, come at life the way that I am, And it made
it's always easier for people to be. It's always easier for people to be upset at someone else than to be nice or to hide whatever it is they're going through. It's easier to act angry or to lash out at someone else than it is to be nice or think of others first or whatever.
It's, like you said, we're all facing something is going on in each of our lives right now.
Yeah, there's no one that can say there isn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. It's, it's like you say, man, you just never know what anybody else is really dealing with outside the walls of wherever you're at, work, school, don't matter. You just never know what he or she is going on their own personal scale of things. So, and it's hard because I need to remind myself, like, okay, man, I need to just kick back a little bit, just chill, just if you're not going to have a good day, why is it any fair for you to ruin somebody else's? You know what I'm saying? So I see it.
Sometimes when I see someone who's frustrated or whatever, like, I'll take it personal. Like, I'll initially, like, right there at that moment, I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? And then all of a sudden, like, I'll talk to him later, and then he'll say, oh no, I've just got this stuff. And it wasn't me at all. It wasn't me that they were even mad at. So I was thinking, well, maybe I did that to people. Maybe people, like, when they saw me just down and out or whatever, dealing with life, maybe they thought that I was mad at them. And so I had to, like, circle back around and just let people know, no, I'm good. And it was nothing with you. It was nothing with you. Just, I was dealing with some things.
Yeah.
So
that's how it is, man. So it is. So
definitely.
You need to, pound down a few beers like you're doing yourself to relieve of that.
Self-medicate. Not really, though. Don't want people to get the idea, like, oh, that alcoholic.
Well, on that last episode, we were kind of going heavy on the Ronas and the I don't know what they're doing, Scotch.
It was Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey
with Corona. We were drinking Corona. I had some Pilsner, some Fremont. Free advertisement, I guess, but not that it gets you anything.
Better sponsors.
And then we, as if that wasn't enough in our system, we lit these big ass cohibas.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, we had to do it, and Scott was my boy. He would come up. He was my smoking partner for the longest, and then he'd come up, and we'd take a couple sticks down, and and then so yeah, when I think that's something that our boy Grant is the one that got me into that, where he's like, he just gave me a scotch, gave me a cigar one day, and I'm like, I just left his house after I was sober, but I just left and I was like, that's a good thing, and so I can't tell you how many times I've asked Grant, can you do that on the podcast? And he's so much of an introvert. He's like, no, this is just our time. It's good to kick it with your boys, be able to lay back like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and get some Fortnite in. Eddie, we got to get you on Fortnite, dude. Scott's been linking up with me.
And really? Okay.
I tried to get on that I downloaded that Modern Warfare, whatever, that Warzone.
Yeah.
And I'm having some sort of a problem with my Activision account. It won't it's saying it won't let me in. I can't figure it out. So weird. I've been trying to get in.
Okay. Huh. Maybe we'll definitely have to get into that. Definitely relieve some stress in that game too. It's fine. I'll definitely have to link up with you guys for sure. I'll definitely have to link up with you. Yeah,
dude, we stack bodies, dude. I can't tell you how many teams that we send crying to their parents after we get done with them.
We get top 3 quite often.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You need that fellow trio, that solid member, man.
Yes.
I'll do work, dude.
Have the strategy. It's just, I think our building is the only thing that keeps us from the 2 and the 1.
That's the one thing about that fucking game I never understood, man. The building. I'm like, I haven't told you, Brett. I'm like, I'll shoot, aim, shoot. That's all I'll do. You can build, and I'll do the rest.
I'm not good at the building either.
The same technique. Like Scott and I, we have it down to where, if one of us gets hit, okay, I'm coming, coming around. Okay, don't worry, pop, and dude, we've taken whole squads out before, just like that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I'll have to download it since I play on PC now. So I'll be able to. I think I'll still be. I don't know how they do it on that game, but I can still link up with you though if you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yep. Perfect. Cool. We're set. I'll have to download it then. I'll probably download after this pod, and get it installed and fresh and ready for next time. Yeah, man.
I like it.
For sure.
And then if anybody on the Tip Touch thing plays Fortnite, you want to get on our squad.
Yeah, you should put it down for anybody. I mean, I'm sure we got some game heads that play, that definitely want to squad up. We'll put it somewhere in the description on the YouTube when we upload this, which, by the way, you can check out our latest episode with Miguel.
Yes.
What is it? Creator of Mind and Soul clothing line. Check that out at the Tip Touch Podcast, and also follow us on Instagram at the Tip Touch Podcast to give you the latest and greatest updates on what we're working on and cooking behind the stoves, and just keeping you up to date. So, but
yes,
yeah,
sir.
I mean, are we good for the night? I mean, I feel like that was a solid little session. Got to talk to Scott. He's doing good. That's awesome to hear, man. Definitely, man, I don't mind having him on here too, man. If whenever he wants or he just wants to get on, dude. I think it's awesome that we have a third wheel.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's exactly what they say.
And we'll have to do one outside where we can all smoke a cigar together.
Oh, yeah,
outside session.
Let's wait for the fires to go down.
Oh yeah.
We're already technically smoking smoke or inhaling smoke. So
hey guys, I just got this new Juul.
Juul.
Isn't that the vaping thing that they have?
The USB one, the USB e-cig?
Yeah, people blow it up in people's mouths. I love it. All right. We will catch you all in the next episode. Eddie, hit him up.
Yeah, definitely. As always, this is just a Tip Touch Podcast. Back at you with another one. And like I said, go follow us on Instagram at the Tip Touch Podcast, and go check us out on YouTube at the Tip Touch Podcast. And until then, we'll catch you later. Woo!